How often do you write?
Oh, that's a good question. People always say, like, how can you be so disciplined to just sit in your office and write all the time? Well, I don't write all the time, if it's hardest. But I always say, if I don't write, it doesn't happen. Not like going into an office and having a job and having specific tasks and things like that and having meetings set up for you. I mean, you know, if you write, writing on a TV staff is a little different, but if you're basically writing, whether it's on spec or writing on assignment and you're in your own space, you have to get the work done. You have to create, you know, your schedule. So I find that when I'm on a tighter deadline, I write much more. I write much faster. I'm up earlier. I'm up later. A certain amount of adrenaline takes over where you just get it done. If I'm not on an assignment, I'm writing something for myself, or I've got a little time for something, or I'm preparing for a meeting that's a week away instead of tomorrow, I'll take a little bit more time. But basically every day, you know, I'm always in work mode, and I'm always working on something, writing something, putting pitches together, working on rewriting. I always go back and rewrite old scripts that I think still have life in them that we can maybe try to sell. As scripts have strange lives to them. They have 9 lives in some respects, because you can write something. I mean, I have scripts that I've written 10, even 15 years ago that didn't sell then, but suddenly there's a reason that something's out in the zeitgeist now that if I just make some tweaks and sort of, you know, modernize it a little bit or update it, it may have a life to it, and I do that a lot. So when I have a little downtime, I always go back to the old scripts. But I've had a long stretch of pretty regular assignment work. So that has kind of kept me in a pretty dedicated and consistent work mode. But you know, let's put it this way: I'm much happier and much saner when I'm writing a lot. You know, and free time is fine, but I just enjoy, you know, having that project that I'm working on. So I try to write as much as I can.
Were you always that dedicated and structured? I mean, was that something over time that developed?
I've always been pretty, like, whatever jobs I've had, I've been organized, and you know, even in school I was organized. You know, not like, you know, fanatically, but you know, I'm pretty good at sort of knowing how to sort of get things done in a quick way and not lose too much time. You know, prioritizing is very important, and because when you have a limited amount of time to get something done, you really have to kind of be careful that you're not getting lost in the minutia of things, and really stay focused on the bigger picture and the overarching story and the bigger structure of something than playing with every little word. You can get so, as a writer, you can get so lost in what somebody I know once very accurately called swirling the words, you know, where you just, you know, you get the script written and then you're spending all this time making every word perfect and, you know, rearranging things. And you know, we all want things to be as great and as what we consider perfect as possible, but then a movie gets made and there are millions of changes along the way and tons of things are cut, and sometimes you know what's being done, sometimes you don't know what's being done. So you have to really over the course of time, I've learned to really manage the time I spend on things and not get too caught up in the minutia of things, which is kind of easy to do. But I'm pretty good at organization and getting things done, and I'm fairly quick. I mean, I can write fairly quick, I can rewrite fairly quickly. Over the course of time, I perseverate a lot less on a script or a story or a pitch. Like I said, I want it to be great, but I'm sort of good at letting things breathe and evolve a little bit more to get to the point that they need to be.
How do you know if you're getting caught up in the minutia? Because I think as creative people, we think it's something huge, but really it's not. I mean,
it's very easy to get lost.
I
mean, you know, especially again, if you're not on a schedule or you're not on a timetable or you're not watching the clock, it's very easy to get lost. Now, by the same token, I'm a big believer in, like, sometimes you just have to just write stuff out and just you know, have it in your head and just get it down on the page and not edit yourself, just sort of, you know, like blow it out. And I think sometimes that's very helpful to get to the essence, to find the essence of what you're really trying to do. But I think, you know, I think it comes just with experience, frankly. I think it's really just the more things you've written and the more ways you understand how to best tell and structure a story so that it'll be the most effective, that it'll hit the marks that somebody's hiring you is looking for. You know, if you're working for a film company or a network or a producer who has certain paradigms, mandates, things that work best for them, you know, you focus on those things because there's just some when you're writing for other people, sometimes there's just so much you can of yourself that can be in that script. You're trying to fill a number of boxes. And it's a little different than just writing something on spec, or like writing a stage play, which is for you. So you learn how to adjust the amount of time you spend on things, what you focus on, what is important, what's probably less important, what's going to change, what's probably not going to change, because we have a finite amount of time to do things.